Good day everyone, we are the group 4 and today our topic is all about the textile application. A textile is a flexible material made by creating an interlocking bundles of yarns and threads. Textile is formed by weaving, knotting, tatting and bonding these yarns together. And textile application, it can be used in health and personal protective equipment and numerous products have been already developed. And first, let's go to the transportation textiles. Transportation textiles is the largest user of the technical textiles and it is about 23% of the total technical textiles in the market. However, these textiles are provide a means of decorations and warm soft to the surface that are necessary features for human well-being and comfort. But these textiles are also essential components of the more functional parts of all the road vehicles, trains, aircraft, and sea vessels. Sunroof is the movable panel that opens the uncovered window in an automobile mobile roof and allowing the light and fresh air to enter the passenger's compartment. And some of them are made of leather or cotton with foam. Headliner is the layer covering the ceiling of your vehicle, and it is the layer closest to the car's fiberglass roof. And it is made of melted foam like a polymeric compound, and it is called the polyurethane. Convertible tops refers to any vehicle top that folds and retracts. Usually, it is made of vinyl or canvas. These tops are fitted over steel, aluminum, or plastic frame, and the convertible top can classified into two. It can be hard top or soft top. Inside roof lining is an fabric material that is on the inside roof of the automobiles, and its primary purpose is to enhance the car's interior aesthetics by giving it a smooth texture. And some of them are made of leather, it may be cotton, and fabric. Four-way stretch carpet. It is a high quality cut pile carpet and it is flexible and pliable to contour the most complex surfaces. And as a true automotive grade, and this is a universal carpet and is UV stable and can be applied with a contact adhesive and it is made of nylon. Ballistic car seat covers are custom manufactured to the exact specifications of your seats. Ballistic seat covers are made from thick and durable Conjura ballistic fabric that has an inner water resistant liner. And these car seat covers are UV treated for added protection for rotting, mildew, and stains.
So next is medical textile. So what is medical textile? Medical textile, also known as biomedical textiles, which is a mixture of textile, technology, and medical science. The main purpose of the medical textile is to improve human health and wellness. The major functions of medical textile are healthcare, hygiene, new fiber technology, and artificial medical textile products. So there are two medical textile fibers. Fiber used into medical applications falls into two groups. The first one is commodity fibers or general purpose fibers, are typically used in a highly competitive price environment, which translate into large scale, high volume programs in order to compensate for the often low margins. Second is the specialty fiber. Specialty fiber, or more generally called optical fibers, Specialty fibers are optical fibers with special design or materials. Commodity fibers. The first one is natural and regenerated fibers, which is cotton, silk, and viscose. Next is synthetic fibers, which are polyester, polypropylene, PTFE, polytetrafluoroethylene, polyamide, carbon, and glass fiber. So what are the requirements of materials for medical applications? The the listed below are the requirements. Biocompatible and sterile, anti-allergenic and antibacterial, good resistance to alkalis, acids, and microorganisms, good dimensional stability and elasticity, free from contamination and impurities, absorption and repellency and permeability, white staple fiber, and lastly, biodegradable and environmentally friendly. So there are four kinds of classification of medical textiles, and those are non-implantable materials, extracorporeal device, implantable materials, and lastly, healthcare or hygiene products. The first one is non-implantable materials. So what are non-implantable materials? These materials are used for external applications on the body that may or may not contact with skin. This includes wound care, bandage, plasters, and etc. The first example for this is simple elastic bandage. Elastic bandage are stretch bandage used to create local pressure. Elastic bandage are often used to treat muscle sprains and strains by reducing blood flow to specific areas by applying uniform and stable pressure that can limit swelling at the site of the injury. The next example is orthopedic bandage or orthopedic bandage and domed orthopedic pads are a widely used support material for surgical and plaster cast packaging, made from natural or synthetic non-woven fabrics. And lastly, the gypsum cast, commonly known as paricast gypsum, are solid material used to bind parts of the body and support the healing of the fractured bones. It is usually used to stabilize broken knees and prevent movement for weeks or months, depending on the severity of the injury. The next classification is extracorporeal device. So what is extracorporeal device? These are the artificial organs that are used to replace the deceased one. Examples of these are the artificial kidney, liver, lungs. These properties of such device are vital. The first example of this is artificial lungs. An artificial lungs device is a membrane made of synthetic material that is connected to blood vessels by a silicone tube and a cannula. The blood flowing through the device is rich in oxygen and does not contain carbon dioxide. The next example is artificial liver. The artificial liver acts as a support device to allow the liver to regenerate if it fails or to bypass the patient's liver function until transplantation is possible. It is only possible with the use of actual hepatocytes and is still not a permanent substitute. The third example is artificial kidney. Artificial kidney are often synonymous with hemodialysis, but can also refer to renal replacement therapies in use and or under development. This article is about bioengineered kidneys, bioartificial kidneys grown from kidney cells. And lastly, artificial heart. An artificial heart is a device that replaces the heart. Artificial hearts are usually used to fill gaps before the heart transplant or to permanently replace the heart when a heart transplant is not possible. So the next classification is implantable materials. So what is implantable materials? These are the textile structure that can be used inside the human body, for various purposes such as replacement surgery. The first example of these are artificial ligaments. Artificial ligaments are devices used to replace damaged ligaments. Today, the most common use of artificial ligaments is in anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction. The next example is vascular grafts. Vascular grafts are tubes made of natural tissue or synthetic materials that are surgically implanted in veins or arteries. These are implants used to repair, bypass, or replace parts of the blood vessels during the surgical intervention. And lastly, sutures. Surgical sutures is a natural or synthetic textile material used for a body tissues together after an injury or a surgery. Application generally involves using a needle with an attached length of thread. Ideal sutures. Physically and mechanically properties. Adequate tensile and straight and etc. Handling properties. It is easy to handle. Biological properties. Unfavorable for bacterial growth. Biodegradation properties. Absorbable. Its tensile strength loss must match the healing rate of the tissue close. Fiber used for sutures are the following: synthetic, polyamide, polyester, polyethylene, polytetrafluoroethylene; natural, cotton, silk, generated cellulose, chitin, alginates, and collagen. And last classification is healthcare or hygiene products. So what is healthcare or hygiene product? This is the most the most important textile among the medical application. The range of the product available for healthcare are, and hygiene is vast, but they're typically used in the operating room, theater, or in the hospital wards for hygienic care and safety of the staff and patient. They could be washable or disposable. The first example of this is a surgical mask. A surgical mask, also known as a medical face mask, is a personal protective equipment worn by health profession during medical procedures. Next is surgical gown. Surgical or sterile surgical gowns are worn on a barrier to fluid and microbial transmission during surgery. They have long sleeves with elastic cuffs and maintain the sterile barrier between the surgical field and the surgeon's clothes or exposed arms. Number 3, sanitary pads or napkin. A sanitary napkin, sanitary towel, feminine napkin, sanitary pads or menstrual pads or pad is absorbed item worn by a woman in their underwear when menstruating. And last example is surgical cover drapes. Maintain sterility and reduce the risk of contamination or cross-contamination. So, which fibers are used to produce healthcare and hygiene products? Commonly used natural fibers are cotton and silk. Regenerated cellulosic fibers such as viscose rayon. All fibers are must in the medical application must be non-toxic and non-allergenic.
Industrial and products and components. Industrial products manufacturers are facing a significant challenge in adapting to the evolving digital world. Not since the introduction of the assembly line has manufacture been subject to such a profound change in their day-to-day operation. Yes, manufacturers have always had to be lean and agile, but the question now is how manufacturers will survive and thrive in this more competitive digital world. Digitization of manufacturing operation and value chain brings both challenges and opportunities. You must be willing to adapt transformational technology despite the cultural change it brings. You need to become more nimble and rethink business models, uncover opportunities for productivity improvements, and drive innovation across core business operation. Moreover, you must embrace the pace of change that is occurring all around you. Global markets are providing manufacturers substantial new opportunities. Competitive pressures require faster time to market and shorter product life cycle. Connected products are opening up new revenue stream, new compliance, accounting, and sustainability Regulation are adding complexity. Tariffs or taxes are forcing a rethink of how products are made and sourced. Customers are expecting faster and more unique approaches to fulfillment. IIoT integration is enabling more sophisticated product design, service capabilities, and product as a service models. Retaining and transitioning skilled labor is vital to success. Automation and autonomous factories are enabling greater efficiency and flexibility. Visibility of the entire operation without limitation is crucial. Benefits. The industrial product industry requires a broad-based solution that supports operational excellence. Compet- Competition is fierce, our margins are small. Oracle's comprehensive and integrated solution help ensure that all parts of the value chain operation together to maximize returns. Accelerate innovation and boost brand equity in the cloud. Digital transformation are facilitated with advanced technologies built into the cloud application. The combination of the best practices of the Fusion code set and sophisticated data analytics is the platform of business innovation. Drive growth through customer-centric process in the cloud. Cloud-based application built with the customer in the center, maximizing and knowledge and contact with your customer through social outlets, product innovation management and service delivery, loyalty return sales is fostered through the complete product life cycle utilizing Oracle's PLM Cloud. Support product as a service with the same application that supports your standard business model, giving you the capability to drive out new market opportunities. Bundle product and service offerings and improve performance of service level agreements, optimizing supply chain performance in the cloud. With 40 years of manufacturing solution experience, Oracle application ensure that you have the tools to drive your operational efficiencies and goals to next level. Drive revenue and margin growth through service transformation in the cloud. Bundle product and service offerings and improve performance of service level agreements. Expand and automate service delivery capabilities, transform service operation into customer-centric profit centers.
And are perceiving agriculture, horticulture, and fishing. So agriculture, horticulture, and fishing textile application is connected to each other, almost connected to each other. First is agriculture. You know that the agro-textiles is used to classify not woven, non-woven, and knitted fabrics applied for agriculture and horticultural uses. In agriculture, some popular agricultural fabrics are plant nets, sunscreens, windshields, harvesting nets, and nets for protecting crops from birds. And they use fiber materials for agri-tech. It's like nylon, polyester, polyethylene, and polyolefin. And next, we gotta proceed to horticulture. So these are the example of uh, in agricultural textile application. Next is horticulture. Did you know that horticulture comes from the word Latin, which means garden and clear to cultivate? As a general term, it refers to ordinary use. It refers to intensive commercial production. Horticultural textiles are screen used for overhang and, in some cases, as seals. So it helps It helps to prevent damage and twisted strips as well as limited energy and light leakage for protection of the plant or um, for your crops. Next is these are the example of some of the example of horticultural textile application, and that some of the agrotextiles that are used frequently for horticultural use are these: hail protection fabrics, mulch net, rain protection fabrics, wind control fabrics, harvesting nets. So this is a big help for protecting your plants and for your crops. Next is fishing. Is fishing. Text application is can be used for protection, gathering, and storing products in fishing, like ropes, twine, and fishing nets and lines. So this is a big help for agriculture, horticulture, and fishing. So that's all. Thank you. Next, we proceed to home textile.
Home textiles. Home textiles are clothes and fabrics used as part of home furnishings. They make our lives more comfortable and give our interiors a defined aesthetic characteristic. To be clear, home textiles are not just any textiles within a residence. For example, your clothes are not home textiles, and even if you are wearing them at home, home textiles are specifically tied to the interior of a residence functionally and aesthetically. Just try to imagine your life without them. And this is the area of the application. The textiles for seating, window textiles, bed textiles, textiles for wall covering, bathroom textiles, table textiles, and accessories. And for the textiles of seating, fixed upholstery. These terms refer to any upholstery fabric that is stapled, tacked, glued, or other frame and covers of a reliant of hard substrate. Abrasion resistant is 25,000 reps. Acrylic fiber, velvet are used because of excellence, brightness, and appearance. Texture is usually achieved by the use of fancy of buckled type, which is used as a wave across non-textured wrap. Initially buckled is of rayon and nylon, and it was recently used. Next is the window textiles. Steamer use of coarser yarn, often textures or fancy yarns, woven construction, combination of lino and plain, weave with weft, wise or wrap bands of solid areas or cheek of it. Wide area of fabric development in home textiles. And next is for the bed textiles, as sheets and pillowcases. This is a major soft goods category. Sheet print design have seen much variation, including small and large floral patterns, coordinating themes, connecting sheet, pillowcase, dovet cover, and curtains. Border design, patchwork-inspired points, strong diagonals, geometrics, and candy stripes. Sheets and pillowcases are generally related to fabrics woven with the plain waves of cotton, or more often, cotton polyester, blended yarns. If they have easy care, no iron properties, they have like they are likely to be so leveled. The next one is blankets. A blanket is a piece of silk cloth large enough either to cover or to enfold a great portion of the user's body. It usually used when a person goes to sleep or is otherwise at rest. It traps radiant bodily heat that otherwise would be lost through convection, helping to keep the user warm. And these are made of various constructions and composition which provide different degrees of warmth, softness, and durability. They are usually woven but can be knitted or stitch knitted or by flocking fibers into a polyurethane foam base. The yarns may be composed fully or of blends of cotton, wool, nylon, acrylic, or polyester. Next is the textiles for wool covering. Tapestry. It involves formation of weave wave where wrap is completely hidden by the weave, which is firmly beaten by a heavy comb. Cotton is used as a wrap and worsted yarn is used as a weave. And next was a wall hangings embroidery. Embroidery is sometimes used to mark the borders between the pattern areas of the ground cloth, and most varied types of stitches are used by obtaining decorative effective with the aid of the carded dyed non-spun woven fibers. The artist creates a tapestry or wall hanging by superimposing a web on backing material. The next is a wall hanging hand tuft. It includes the both hand-operated tufting needle and mechanical tufting gun. In wall hanging, it involves several other interior textiles such as wall hanging batik, wall hanging woven, and knotted. The next one is the bathroom textiles. Shower curtains. Shower curtains need to be waterproof materials, plastic-coated textiles, woven and non-woven fabrics became firmly established in this area. And the next one is the terry towel. Terry fabrics became an important sectors of household textiles. The terry towel has become available in a wide variety of design piece-dyed fabrics, jaguar floral design as well as printed and sculptured as well as velvet or shirring version. The primary function of a terry towel is to absorb moisture from wet skin. It must, however, be strong enough to withstand the strain of the rubbing and pulling, twisting and tugging of the user, and of constant laundering. Terry towels are made of all cotton or a combination of cotton and polyester. And next one is the table textiles. A tablecloth, it is of several types color woven printed types of linen cotton material. Jogger type which include damask, embroidered types, non-woven types which include spun blended nylon and spun lace polyester fiber. Tablecloths are generally made of cotton, linen, rayon, polyester, or blends of any combination of these fibers. They are proceed in various ways, styling and patterns. Among the most popular are the mask and lace constructions. And the next one is the table mats. Collar woven printed in jaguar types and embroidered styles, table mats adds beauty, convenience, and effectiveness whether they are placed and are definitely one of the most important pieces of table accessories in any home. And the last one is the carpet and rugs. Floor covering have been made from textiles fibers for more than 5,000 years. Throughout civilization, rugs and carpets have formed a part of the history and culture of races and nations. Well-chosen rugs and carpet serves as a colorful foundation for the decorative plan and color scheme of all rooms in the home, in the modern home, including kitchen, bathroom, patios, and pool edges, as well as for schools, office buildings, and hospitals. Carpets also serve as heat and sound insulators, as floor covering are among the more costly items in a house furnishing budget. Careful consideration must be given to fiber, color, decorative character and design, size and construction, and obtain the best value of any price level.
Clothing components. Function of clothing. Protection from weather. To keep us warm and protect us from the cold. Windproof and waterproof. Protect yourself from the wind and rain. Identification. Uniforms are used to identify people. Uniforms are used in school, workplace, and sports. Safety. Certain items are clothing used to protect people. Protective gear, example guidelines. Firefighters wear clothes to protect them from fire and smoke inhalation. Expression. A person personality is presented their clothing. Some people are casual, some are more formal. Moods can be expressed through clothing. people wear black influences other. Judges wear wigs to show their status. Expensive clothes are important status symbol for more some. Factors or guidelines to consider when buying clothes. Functionality. Consider the functions of the garment when and where you want to wear the clothes. Fit. Consider the fit of the clothes item. Measurement are generally in waist and hip length and breast measurement. Care requirements. Choose clothes are easily to care for. Some clothes require dry cleaning, which can be expensive. Check our level. Durability. Consider the quality of fabric. How hard wearing is it? Denim is very durable. Cost. Decide whether item provides value for money. Some clothes are expensive because they have a designer level. Cheaper clothes may look just as well. Fashion. The fashion word is used to describe the style of clothing that is popular at particular time. Mass production of clothes today allow us all to wear the clothes latest fashion. Fashion trends. Fashion trends are changes in fashion such as color, skirt length in 1960. They might last from 6 months to a year. Fashion fads are often more extreme. Example, strong colors. They are usually worn by young people and have a short life. Recent example include with lock leggings or maxi skirt. The fashion industry. Famous people, film star, pop star, sports star, fashion designer are sometimes known as trendsetter or fashion leader. The media promote particular style in magazine and on the TV which have become.
Packaging and containment. Packaging. Packaging is the science, art, and technology of enclosing or protecting products for distribution, storage, sale, and use. Packaging also refers to the process of designing, evaluating, and producing packages. Containment and packaging. The containment function involves the ability of the packaging to maintain its integrity during the handling involved in filling, sealing, processing, transportation, marketing, and dispensing of the food. We have the three levels of packaging, and these are the primary, secondary, and tertiary packaging. The first one is primary packaging. Primary packaging refers to the materials that make direct physical contact with your product. This level of packaging is often called the retail or consumer packaging of an item. The second one is secondary packaging. Secondary packaging is another level of protection that is commonly used for protection, bundling, and marketing purposes. The last one is tertiary packaging. Tertiary packaging is different from both primary and secondary packaging because it's not usually seen by the end user.
So, building and roofing and construction. So first, we need to talk about the building. So what is building? So building is the process of constructing buildings. The result of building construction is always a building or an addition to a building. So this may be in a residential or commercial setting. Building construction means generally the construction of sheltered enclosures with walk-in access for the purpose of housing persons, machinery, equipment, or supplies. So that is the building. Next is the roofing. So roofing is a term that refers to the construction at the top of the building. So which typically provides protection from the elements. Uh, it generally
comprises a system of structural members assigned to support the roof build-up. The materials that provide water lightness and thermal and acoustic insulation to the building below. So that is the roofing.
Geotextile in civil engineering. Geotextile. A geotextile is defined as a permeable geosynthetic made of textile materials. Among the different geosynthetic products, geotextile present the widest range of properties and can be used for the widest variety of civil engineering applications. So there are some of geotextile usage in civil engineering. First is separation. Separation is the introduction of a flexible porous geotextile placed between the similar materials so that the integrity and the functioning of both materials remains intact for the life of the instructor. In pavement applications, separation refers to the geotextiles rule in preventing the intermixing of two adjacent layers. For example, a major cause of failure of roadways constructed over soft foundation is contamination of the aggregate base course with the underlying soft subgrade soil. Next, filtration. Filtration is defined as the geotextile permit the movement of water across its plane with limitation and soil particles movement. And the other one is reinforcement. Geotextile makes an improvement in pavement strength. Second, increase the tensile strength of materials. In other words, it makes lateral restraint through interface friction force between geotextile and soil or aggregate, so that makes geotextile use in slope stability for floor laying and inclined surface. As you noted above, geotextile are effective tool in the hands of the civil engineering that have proved many solutions and solved many problems in civil engineering fields. That's all for my topic. Thank you.
So, my topic is all about the textiles in sports and leisure. So, my report will emphasize the application of textiles in sports and fibers and fabrics used in sportswear characteristics. Textile materials are used in all sports as sportswear, and in many teams as sports equipment and sports footwear. Sportswear, um, it can also be called as active attire. It is a clothing including footwear worn for sport or exercise. The sports textiles sector includes specialist apparel for specific sports, each with its own particular functions. The performance fibers, yarns, fabrics, and finishes developed for this specialist sector are increasingly transferring for the mass market in the high street. Sportswear. Sportswear. The typical garments include shorts, tracksuits, t-shirts, polo shirts, and trainers. Specialized garments include wetsuits and salopettes. It also includes some underwear such as the jockstrap. Sportswear is also often worn as casual fashion clothing. We have desirable attributes of functional sportswear and leisure wear. Leisure wear. It should be optimum heat and moisture regulation, a good air and water vapor permeability, rapid moisture absorption and conveyance capacity, absence of dampness, rapid drying to prevent catching cold, low, low water absorption of the layer of clothing transposition to the skin, dimensionally stable even when wet, durable, easy care, lightweight, and soft and pleasant touch. In sportswear, we have to choose a suitable materials for making a sportswear that related and suitable for the sport. In sportswear, there are special fibers used such as Skilad N23, Dacron, Leica 25, Lorica and Leofil, and in the fabrics used also is the Enchant Thermisax EV, Enchant HP, Terai, Niva 30, Feld Sensor 21, and Duramax.
Protective and safety clothing or textiles. But first, let me define what is protective clothing or textiles. Protective clothing or textiles are one of the parts of technical textiles that are used principally for their performance or functional properties rather than their decorative or aesthetic properties, which means that protective clothing or textiles are used for their performance, not on their design. One of the crucial requirements for textile products is protection from extreme environment. Here is the importance of protective clothing in the workplace. First is to protect human beings from various natural or industrial hazards. These are the environmental hazards that we encounter every day, namely heat, cold, ultraviolet, radiations, radioactive, microorganisms, and many more. The need of protective textiles is there to safeguard us from hazards. Properties of protective clothing or protective textiles. Here are some key characteristics of protective clothing. The first one is the lightweight and low bulk. The second one is high durability and dimensional stability. Next is good handle and drape property. Next is a low noise emission. Next is water repellent, windproof and snow shedding, thermal insulating, ultraviolet or UV resistant, air permeability, flame retardant, heat and melt resistance or low smoke emission, safety from radar spectrum. Types of fiber used in protective clothing. The first one is meta-aramide fiber. It is used for industrial protective clothing such as racing driver suit, filter bags for hot gases, and cargo covers. The second one is para-aramide fiber. It is used for tire cords, body armor, high-speed boat components. The third one is the carbon fiber. It is used for aircraft and space shuttle, automotive, medical implants. Glass fiber. It is used for consumer goods, roofing tiles, corrosion resistant, and aircraft. Polypropylene fiber. It is used for marine roofs and cables and sailcloth. Spandex fiber. It is used for foundation garments, support hose, sports and leisure garments. Tencel. Tencel, it is used for filtration media for the oil industry, medical, textile, industrial fabric. PBI, it is used for hot gas filtration, racing driver suit. Inorganic fiber, it is used for aircraft, automobile, sport, electrical application. The last one is the fluorine. It is used for containing fiber filtration media for corrosive material and packaging material. Classification of protective textiles. The first one is high temperature protective clothing, chemical protective clothing, mechanical protective clothing, flame resistant protective clothing, ultraviolet protection finish, metallized fabrics, high visibility textiles, radiation protective clothing, protective healthcare garments, clean room technology, biological protective clothing, and ballistic protective clothing. Protective clothing or textiles. Protective clothing or textiles are part of technical textiles that are defined as comprising all those textile-based products. Protective textiles is one of the major of technical and industrial textiles, which refers to garments and other fabric-related items designed to protect from environmental effect that may result in injuries or death. Protective textiles or ProTech can be classified depending the use as industrial, agricultural, military, civilian, medical, sports, and space protective textiles. Personal protective textiles can be classified according to their functions such as thermal or cold, flame, chemical, mechanical impact, radiation, biological, electrical, and wearer visibility. Protectivity can be imparted to clothing using standard textile manufacturing technologies or by any applicable new technologies. Although the processing technologies from a specific protective clothing are different, the main process include material manufacturing or selection, producing fabrics and other related items, finishing, and clothing engineering.